Hey everybody, I'm out here in my 2018 Chaparral with the Mercruiser with the 250 horse 4.5 liter V6, and I just got it out for the season after winter and took my first run down the lake to kind of shake things down after replacing the shift cable and the lower bellows, the shift cable bellows on the outdrive. And so anyway, I launched it, took a shakedown run, and it seemed a little hard to start, a little rough idling and stuff, but not too far out of normal. But I started going down the lake, and it would run fine at about 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. I just did a light cruise, I was just up on plane. And then I decided to lean into it. And as the engine gets up above 3,000 RPM and the throttle's opening up, it starts misfiring and it starts surging, and then I get a horn, and the system powers back to idle and brings me down to a stop. And kind of disconcerting. But anyway, so I got it. It didn't stall. It just went, like I say, went back to idle. So then I went back and took it up, let's say, back to about 25 miles an hour. Anything below 3,000 RPM, I was pretty good. Took it back to the dock, and I've been doing some troubleshooting. One of the things I have on this engine is a Vesselview. It's a Vesselview module that plugs in on the engine that has wireless to my phone. So I got an app on my phone, a Vesselview app by Mercury, and it'll read engine trouble codes. That was kind of the main thing. And it gives you engine data, idle speed, and all of that good stuff. It's pretty nice. I mean, I don't remember what I paid. It was $200 or $300, but it gives you a whole lot. So anyway, it set a trouble code, and in order to see what the trouble code is, the only thing that made it was a little irritating of sorts was that to read the trouble code, I had to log into my account at Mercury, which I didn't have my password with me and all. So I went home, sat down with the manual, service manual, logged in, checked it. The answer is that it said, ECU detected a problem in ignition circuit 3, trying to output a signal to this device. And it says ignition coil is not working properly. Now, I'll show you the screenshot here. So this is the message that I get. Now, I got the service manual, and there are some things you can do to go through and troubleshoot coils. And again, the thing runs, idles pretty well. It's maybe a little rough, but it's not major misfiring. So I measured the coil, I measured resistance the best I could. I couldn't get, the coils are on the back of the engine, I'll show in a minute, and they're kind of tough to get to, I'll just put it that way. So I went out and bought a new coil. My local dealer had one at one of their stores, and so I picked up a coil, and I'm going to try to swap it in and see if that'll fix it. So to do this, you need to be able to get to the coils, and here's the top of the engine. I had to remove the flame arrestor to get enough room because there's tons of hoses and wires in here. And the coil is down here underneath, and now figuring out which one, this is one coil, and then there are two more over here on the other side, on the port side. It said it was in circuit 3. Now if you go to the service manual, the wiring diagram labels the coils 1, 2, 3. If you go to the spark ignition section of the manual, where it explains the system, it says 3 is over here, and it's for cylinders 2 and 5. And the nice thing I gotta say to Mercury is they do label things fairly nicely. And so this one says coil 3, right there. It says coil 3, 2, and 5. So I'm going to start with the assumption that this is the right coil, and we're going to swap it. I pulled this connector and measured resistance. It was to the low side. It was technically out of spec low just a little bit. But these things vary around. So it's supposed to be 0.3 to 0.5 ohms, and it measured 0.2. Frankly, that's a kind of a hard thing to measure, and then it would drift around, and sometimes it would be 0.3 or 4. So, so I got to remove that one, and then there's a fuse and a wiring harness here going over the top of everything. The coil's down here, and in order to get to the bolts, which are underneath the wiring harness on both sides, I've got the 12-volt power disconnected. I'm going to have to disconnect this harness, and I might even have to loosen these connections and get this fuse out of the way. We'll see how good I do when I get down in here. But we're going to see what we can do. There's not a whole lot of videoing I can do. I'm just going to tell you I'm going to go down in there and pull that dude out. Alright, so I got the wiring harness off the fuse here, and I got the wiring harness off the coil. You can see better now. I've got two bolts down there to try to get it off, and the ignition wires for the spark plugs come out the bottom of it. So I'm hoping to take those 2 bolts out, lift it up, and get it apart. So there's what it looks like when you get it loose. It was a pair of bolts that were like 8mm or 5/16 wrench, and I just got to get the high voltage terminals off now. You can see one's labeled number 5, and the other one I can't see the label, but I got to pop those out. And then while we're looking at things, this is what the coil, this is the new coil, this is what it looks like. So you got 2 terminals there, and the control terminal here. And essentially how this works, this is what they call a waste spark system, which means, and GM used to use this on some engines, you know, the old 3800s did it for a while. Basically what you do is you have one cylinder you want to fire, and the other cylinder is on the exhaust stroke. You fire a spark into both of them. The exhaust spark doesn't do anything useful, it's wasted, so they call it a waste spark system. So, you know, this will be the one that you want to fire. This will be on exhaust, and the next time you come around and you want to fire this one will be on exhaust. And so, like I say, you fire spark onto 2 spark plugs at the same time, but it saves you a number of coils, and it's actually a pretty efficient system. And the way this works is the controls feed 12 volts to one terminal, and the other terminal goes back to the ECM, or PCM, the propulsion control module, and it triggers, and so it ought to be seeing 12 volts come through here. And I'm expecting the reason that it gave a trouble code is that it was trying to pulse this and it was losing 12 volts. Now I went into the harness last night and powered it up and made sure that the 12 volt feed was present, and it must be present most of the time or the engine would be running much worse than it is. It runs good until you get it up on power, and I'm going to assume at the moment that the coil is weak and it starts misfiring, and perhaps this winding is going open when you either open or short as you're putting load on it. So anyway, I'm going to go drop this one in. Coil is swapped and bolted in, and everything's connected back up. The flame arrestor's back on. To the comments about the Vesselview module. This is it right here, and it's a Bluetooth module. The cable is just looped back on itself because I was able to mount it here on the engine. It's got a couple of zip ties, but the cable comes back and down and connects into the electronics up front here. And I'll tell you, it's really a handy thing to have. It's worth the price. Well, I've been running the bilge blower, so I'm gonna turn it off because it's quieter. Well, let's fire it up. Well, so far so good. I guess we'll have to take her out on the water and see how she's doing. Well, I'm back at it. I was about ready to declare victory. It made a nice pass down the lake. Yeah, I was running in the 40-mile-an-hour range. It was feeling good. It didn't do anything bad. And then all of a sudden, it's back again. Starting to surge, starting to lose power. And it set a code again. Same one. So it still says circuit 3's got a bad coil problem. So not knowing whether the numbering, I hate to do things trial and error, but sometimes you have to. So I'm going to assume that the coil I removed is good. I put a brand new one in there. I'm going to rotate through. So I'm going to go to the next coil over, put in the one I just removed, swap it out, try it again. If that doesn't work, I'll do it one more time. I'll swap down to coil 3. And if rotating a fresh coil through each one of these positions doesn't do it, then I'll have to scratch my head and do something else. So the next coil down is on the port side, and I got my light on here. You can see that when you get the flame arrestor off the throttle body, you got 2 coils down here. There's one, and the second one's down underneath it. So I'm going to replace the top one, and we'll see how it does. If that doesn't work, I will go down. I think I'll have to take this one back out again, and then I'll go down and work on the bottom coil. Well, I think that's a fix. That's about 5 miles of, I didn't run them all at 50 miles an hour wide open, but I did run about 4 or 5 miles above 4,000 RPM, and some of it at max, which a little while ago, you do that, you run about a mile and she'd fall off and, set a code. So it stopped setting codes. So I think that's right. Sounds good. All right, so I'm buttoning her up, putting the beauty covers back on. I think I got a fix. With 5 or 6 miles down the lake at 3/4 throttle or more, or wide open, and no misfires, no codes, no. I mean, it's running better than it ran in a long time, actually. That last run, I was, if I looked at my monitor, it was running just under 5,000 RPM and just over 50 miles an hour, which is, that's about as good as it's ever done. Now, it's a cool day today. It's only about 60 or 55 or 60 degrees, but anyhow, I'm happy. The unhappy part is that I had to change coils 3 times. But basically, I did a round robin. You know, I said the trouble code said circuit 3. So I went to the circuit that was marked 3, put a new coil on it. Didn't fix it. So I took the coil that I took out, assuming it's still good, because if that wasn't circuit 3, I moved it over to circuit 2. The one labeled circuit 2. And it still did the same thing. I mean, today's a colder day, so it seemed like it took a little longer before it failed, but you'd get up above 4,000, close to wide open, and it would start falling off. So then I took the coil that I removed from there and installed it in coil position number 1, the lower one on this port side. And it looks like that cured it. So whoever wrote the software, they numbered it differently than the service manual does, and the service manual numbers it differently in 2 different places. But bottom line is, do you know how long this would have taken me? This is why you need the Vesselview module. I can't imagine how long it would have taken me to fix this without it. I'd have probably had to take it to the dealer and pay them $1,000 to go through it. You know, because they have a laptop. There's laptop software, and I've looked at getting that, but I don't think you can get it as an individual, and it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get a license. So, this Vesselview module that hooks to your phone with Bluetooth is the next best thing, because it gives you the trouble codes and it tells you where you need to go. So, it told me go look at an ignition coil. And I did, I just didn't know which one, so I worked through process of elimination until I hit them all. But without that module, the first time this happened and I didn't have a trouble code, I'm going, gee, I got a brand new batch of gas, it's been sitting all winter, could I have water in the fuel? Is my fuel filter plugged? You know, you start going down the whole list. Even now, as I was switching things with coils, it was, okay, if I go through 3 coils and that isn't it, then is it plugs, wires? The engine's only just got 100 hours on it, so you know those things really shouldn't be bad, but neither should a coil, right? Anyway, I'm happy because, like I say, I just outran, got 5-6 miles under power, where for the last 2 days it's been, I didn't have to go that far. When I started out, it crapped out in the first half mile, and today with it being a little cooler, for whatever reason, it was, I could go, you know, maybe a mile or 2, but now this is the nicest it's ran. Even at the end of last season, it wasn't running this good, so I think this coil's been brewing for a while. Anyhow, so this is a look at Vesselview. I showed this before, but you know, give you a look in this context of, you know, this gives you RPM, gallons, miles per hour. There's one here where it'll show your position. There's a checklist for things you need to do. It's 34 gallons. This is a 40-gallon tank. It was 40 gallons yesterday before I got started. But you get engine parameters. If you click this one, yeah, and then it'll let you set up more pages if you want. But there's a basic RPM, water temp, battery, fuel flow, oil pressure, and it tracks how much fuel you use and distance. And there's the set of parameters, and some engines have optional ones that you can add in. I haven't checked to see. Some of these might be on my engine. I haven't tried, but haven't really needed to, but could be interesting. And then, you know, for me, the thing was, I came up here, up there, and there are the faults, and so I could hit my observed faults, And there's the one that said ignition. ECU detected a problem on ignition circuit 3. And in addition to faults, it'll give you maintenance reminders, performance, you can do some performance measurement, and so forth. So it's kind of a handy tool, and I'll say that, you know, I don't know how I would have figured this out without it. So as I was looking at Vesselview, I just kind of wanted to check, since I said, hey, you ought to get one. And it appears Mercury's in the midst of a change where they're moving from this Vesselview Mobile to something called Smartcraft, and I think it's also Smartcraft Mobile. They have different versions depending on whether you want to wire it into your boat, hardwire it. But the Vesselview or the Smartcraft have, you know, wireless connections into your phone, and, you know, pick the one that you really want. But for me, this wireless module works great. It says that they're updating the app, and there'll be a new app coming soon, and I'm just hoping that the app is better, and that I still get all the fault information that I got before. One last thing I should mention is, you know, this is the first time out with the boat since I pulled the drive and replaced the shift cable and the boot for the shift cable. And, you know, I was having trouble with reverse before, and I had the adjustments kind of skewed. But this time I put it in with a new cable, and I adjusted everything exactly to factory spec. And I'll tell you, it's going in forward and reverse, and it's working great. So my fix was good. So, somehow, thanks for watching, and that's all for now.